Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There's been a Reddit post from ex-CIG employee Ray Rucroft. I believe he was customer service manager at the time, titled "Prior CIG employee recently released, something has to change." Now, stuff like that, make up your own mind. However, I'm always in the opinion of ex-employees are typically going to be a bit bitter, take everything with a heap of salt, but we do cover all things Star Citizen here. Also, I don't believe this has anything to do with any wider CIG layoffs. They have been debunked. We do, however, know that Cloud Imperium do want employees to be working from the office where possible and sensible. They don't want their employees to be constantly and always working remotely. I believe there's a concentration of labour in the UK as well at the moment, because I believe that labour there is effectively very cheap with government incentives and pretty low wages. The lengthy post starts. For all levels of Star Citizen fans, I thought I'd get this out as both a backer, then an employee of CIG, then a backer. I was employed with CIG for over 7 years. Prior to my employment, I was a backer for 2 years, and it was my dream job to be able to help make this dream project come true. Unfortunately, that came to a fold this year. I want to make this abundantly clear. My opinion is what I'm giving, not fact. I'm expressing this as an educated person on both sides of the fence, twice backer, employee, backer, and believe my experience is worthwhile posting. I have always and will always hold a fond memory of CIG in my heart. Everyone was so welcoming. I made some fantastic friends and they treated me well through my entire employment. Whether it was a HR assistance or COVID goodie bags to get you through the gloom, they put out the stops and I will always admire them for that. When I walked into the office at Wimslow way back when we were a ragtag team ready to shape the world, we did, up to a point. Where the problem arises is through the project itself. We worked tirelessly to deliver on every front: support, sales, marketing, trailers, marketing, art, QA, office props, play experience, and the lot. The one part that affected the project the most, it seems, was the game itself. Don't get me wrong, the devs at CIG are very talented. I see comments like, "It must be a stain against you to work at CIG." Those commenters are forgetting the revolutionary tech that's been created along the way, and they should be applauded for that. They are making tools and systems that will be used for games seen for generations to come, so please put the respect for them that they deserve. Also, not only do I see negative comments about individuals within CIG, but I've also been personally doxed by a certain man called DS himself. Apparently, I was meeting with people in car parks to share project secrets and should be waterboarded, his words. Imagine doing your day-to-day job and having to put up with that. Please take into consideration that there are really great people who are working on this project with no skin in the game and who just want to do the best job they can. They shouldn't be belittled by the entire internet. On to business. I was a veteran of the project with over 7 years experience in multiple departments, having been instrumental in setting up some of them, and having unique knowledge of systems within Europe. I moved my home closer to work. My fantastic wife enabled me to move closer to work, and she got a different job so I could progress. Through a few meetings, I was dismissed. Not for poor performance, I didn't buy it and had a colleague of mine attend my last meeting to make sure I wasn't missing something. Surely they wouldn't get rid of someone who was a high-performing asset who could have been useful to any team within CIG, who could have helped steer the ship essentially. I want to reiterate, everything is my opinion and not indicative of CIG, their reputation, spending, project trajectory, employees, etc. In my opinion, they have incorrectly calculated their trajectory and player spending through 2023 and beyond. I believe that after so many years of the project not delivering, it's time to start grasping at small straws at least. I believe the fact that I don't want to play the game because the progress resets, the features are not complete, the guides are atrocious, and in general, the future is unclear for anyone at any level, shows CIG really needs to change their stance on what they do, how they do it, and how they communicate it. In my opinion, they have over-invested in the Manchester office that they've just built. They are more bothered with the wall art than they are about investing in additional staff. I personally saw a hiring freeze while spending multiple dollars on making the office look like a piece of space art. It's fantastic to walk into, but as soon as I found out I was being laid off, I looked at everything differently. Some of the art was the same as my salary or multiple people's salaries. Looking up the costs of office furniture not equipment, you could pay someone with 2 office fitments. 2! There are a large number of offices, and when I heard the hiring freeze kicked in and that they were having layoffs, I had to speak my mind. The future of this project, they have to keep generating additional cash or it suffers. If you do not spend more money, there of course may be repercussions. I can't offer my exact recommendation because my good friends lose their jobs and they are fantastic at their jobs and don't deserve it all. That being said, in my opinion, everyone who's buying any and all items offered is propping up the project. I was there during the Cutlass Steel pricing. I suggested a ceiling figure of the ship based on its capabilities in comparison to the other Cutlass ships and its competitors. The Cutlass Black is notoriously undervalued, but still. Despite my recommendations, the price got hiked because surely people will buy it. It's a Cutlass. This is a perfect example of what happens when people vote with their wallets. It makes them realise that it was a bad decision and that they should learn going forward. I think this is the key to going forward for the entire project. I think that the team can deliver key gameplay improvements going forward that encourage players to play and return rather than trying to drip feed concepts to people who may never fly them. I'm looking at you, BMM, Banning Matchman. People play the CCU game to get a $500 ship for $250. That's insane. I personally won't be spending a nickel or dime until the game is delivered, because I became a concierge backer over a 5-year period, and I still don't want to play the game as it is today, which hurts me because I contributed directly to it and want it to succeed. I'm not going to perpetually test a product that at this point should be released. Despite every conversation I had, despite every advantage I had for myself in the company, I was laid off, and I'm so thankful I was. I now have more time with my family, which is the most important thing to me. I now work for a company where every contribution I make is heard, and more importantly, it makes an impact on the company itself. I would never have left CIG if I wasn't pushed. I worked damn effing hard at it, and I'm proud of my work that has led to multiple successful teams. I wish them the absolute best of luck, but I also hope that the people who genuinely want the project to succeed speak their minds, vote with their wallets, criticise where it's appropriate, and champion where milestones are reached. We have a dream, and someone is trying to make it a reality, but don't get caught up in that dream if the reality is being shoved blocks down the road every time you get an update. Or don't. And there was some lengthy edits as well. Edit. Wanted to add some clarity as it seems this has blown up far more than I anticipated and certain trends emerged through comments. A. Everything here is my opinion, not necessarily facts. They are what I feel as a backer, having seen both sides. Any time I spoke about the project in the past, it was internal, not external. I gave my feedback so that it was best used, not putting my feedback on the net in the hope it was caught. B. My post isn't to stir drama or cause issues for CIG. It is a recollection of my experience and what I believe we as backers can do to ensure the ball keeps on rolling in the game's development, getting features complete to a high standard and rolling them out, not in a fireball so everyone can enjoy it. I hope that it helps push prioritizing certain elements. C. I loved my entire time working at CIG. They treated me very well, and by no means is this a post to say they did not. I could name 100 plus people I personally interacted with who were fantastic on every level, both personally and professionally. They had my back no matter what, and I cannot and will not fault them for that. D. There may or may not be a run of layoffs at CIG. As a person far removed from the project now, I have zero idea, but the post I saw on LinkedIn suggested as much. This made me upset. I know a lot of good people that will be affected if this is the case. And there are only so many things that you can point a finger at to the cause, two of which are overestimating and overextending, which is what I personally believe has happened. Again, not a fact, just my opinion. This viewpoint is gained through my experience. E, I've got plenty of people reaching out to me both internally and externally. Beyond this post, I will not be commenting. I do not want to stir the drama. I just want progress, as we all should do. If this helps towards it, great. If not, no sweat, I tried. Endpoint. Please be kind to one another. I've already seen negative comments against my character and CIG. It's expected, but just want to make sure that in this day and age we debate and feedback in the right way and take care of each other rather than grabbing miniature keyboard-shaped pitchforks and doing some online stabby. Some interesting things going on with that whole post, right? I do want to talk about a few of them. Now, the wider layoffs and everything, that has been pretty much mostly debunked. It was a single person in that instance. The only reason it appears to have been mentioned in this Reddit post was because people were questioning him about it. Is it a thing? Are there mass layoffs at CIG? No, there's not. That appears to be entirely of a manufactured drama. So yeah, they haven't stated why they were laid off or left the company here, though they did say that they wouldn't have left if they hadn't been pushed, though that's not any sort of indicator of what actually happened. Star Citizen leaks had suggested that they were let go for refusing to relocate, but we can only speculate. Now, a lot of that post talks about Cloud Imperium spending a lot of money effectively on their new office and investing in their new office in the UK. Now, I don't know exactly how much they're spending on art and fittings and that sort of stuff. Obviously, they are leasing the building for 10 years. Leasing that building for 10 years, that looks good for the future of the game, right? They're in it for the long haul. I don't know how offices and contracts for like that are worked out, but do Cloud Imperium have to pay for all of the fittings and all of that sort of jazz themselves? Is the person that's not leasing them the building going to pay partly towards it or something? I don't actually know. We don't know their contract. But CIG spending money on their offices, infrastructure, and the future of their company is good. Ray mentioned a hiring freeze as well. Now, there wasn't one as far as I was aware. There might have been a small hiring freeze when they were building their offices in the UK, when they'd just started moving offices, like, well, let's not hire anyone until we have space to get more people in. Like, that's one of the reasons they moved, right? Because they were running out of space in their Winslow office. A lot of the criticism there, and a lot of the post from Ray as well, very anecdotal. Also, if they're looking at getting amazing Herman Miller chairs for their employees in the office, that is a genuinely good investment. That's the only thing I can think of that it's super expensive office furniture. Like, I have a Herman Miller Aeron remastered chair. That is the best investment I've ever made. It is fantastic on my back. It is ergonomic. I'm not sponsored by Herman Miller. CIG wanting a nice office, investing in their offices, and wanting a nice place for the employees to go that's not a problem. Obviously within limits. Like, if they're spending hundreds of millions on furniture or something, that would be ridiculous. But they're not. To me, this is what it looks like when you don't have huge amounts of money to spend on giving to investors and owners in dividends. You are ploughing all of that money back into the company and the game development. Now, is it a problem if Cloud Imperium don't make enough money each year? Yes, 100% that would be a problem. How's 2023 looking so far? It's looking really great, just not as great as 2022. But it's only been the last couple of months that have let Cloud Imperium down, and there's been a bit of a drought patch-wise and sort of development-wise and hype-wise. And now we have Alpha 3.20 being talked about, we've got CitizenCon, we've got the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. I genuinely think that 2023 is going to be a record-breaking year for funding for them. Also, something I didn't really understand with the post from Ray, I know they are actively super hiring people. They are looking for talent. They are trying to fill those studios. They're not going, let's have an amazing studio, but get rid of everyone. So they've got a building of 1,000 potential people that's only 100 in there. Something I do agree with Ray on, though, is I do think there's a bit of a disconnect from marketing and the ships that they're selling and that sort of stuff often. The Cutlass Black is undervalued. The Cutlass Steel is overpriced. Marketing sometimes make odd decisions. However, I won't overly criticize them from a metric point of view because they are able to draw in a huge amount of money. Even if sometimes it does feel a bit not great for the consumer. $35 for CitizenCon flair, that's too much. There's obviously something more going on there beyond what Ray had said as well, because, well, if he's great at his job, effectively makes them money, and is awesome, there's no reason to get rid of him. Their performance may have been poor, even though they said that it wasn't. I'm not saying that's what it is. Obviously, there was the suggestion that it was for not relocating, which I can imagine you'd be reticent to do if you had previously relocated and they asked you to relocate again. Also, don't know how he's priced the art, because he said it's the same as someone else's salary or whatever. As far as I'm aware, they can just get canvases and custom stuff made relatively cheaply. Also, he says, Cloud Imperium, they need to make money, otherwise the project fails, effectively, and then says, vote with your wallets. Which looks like a little bit of a shot of don't give them more money. But also, he doesn't want his friends to lose their jobs, so he doesn't want to give his full recommendation of what he would actually do. He is totally right, though. Cloud Imperium do need to make money, but I don't think they need to make as many hundreds of millions each year as people think they do. And yet, I think they're very likely to still make that for many years to come. With this post as well, I think people will realise that a lot of CIG employees don't have NDAs tying them to certain things. They can talk more generally about their experience at work and that sort of jazz, as long as they don't reveal very specific parts about the project. Also, there was a lot of praise in there for CIG, their technology, for the project, and for the people working there saying they're very talented. But I fundamentally disagree with his premise that there's any form of financial health issues with CIG at the moment, and that they had over-invested in their Manchester office. I think it's a great idea to invest in that Manchester office, make that a huge office. Wages are cheap there, and there's a huge amount of government incentives, and I suspect their contract with that building, their lease there, is probably very, very good. Boom! That's it for your something has to change post. Yeah, I think it's mostly someone trying to vent a bit, but I don't think there's much in the way of tangible development information there. Some minor criticisms of the project sort of expanded out, and some anecdotal concerns. But that's just my thoughts. What are yours? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, whether you agree with this post, you think it was interesting, you think it was posted to cause drama, you think it actually clears some stuff up. What did you think of our very rough analysis of it as well? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with some of them? Are you okay with seeing these kind of videos that discuss sort of other parts of Star Citizen that are drama in nature? Do you think actually bringing attention to them sort of damages the project and we shouldn't do that? Or do you think it's important to talk about all things Star Citizen in a rational and mature way? You can look at something like this and go, well, actually, yeah, I understand that this is a thing that's being talked about, has some good little points, but doesn't have much of a bearing on the project. I'm really looking forward to an office tour at CIG now. I want to look at these furniture fittings and this art and go, how much did that cost? How much did that cost? How much is your wage? But whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And one last thing, before I go, if you didn't want to cause drama, and you said, I don't want this to cause drama, why would you title your post, Something Has to Change, and post it on Reddit? Only way you could be more dramatic is posting it on r/drama. For those of you that are keeping your eyes peeled, you will have noticed that the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale again until the 8th of September. They are natively supported in Star Citizen, giving you precision, head and eye tracking that can help with immersion, as well as adding another level of control to your toolset. It's a cool piece of tech that you can use for streaming and seeing where your eyes are going, and loads of other games are supported too. Check out my links below to get one of those at discount. Are we alone in the universe? The truth is out there, but what if aliens visit Earth, but they're like monsters, and all they do is look through your internet history, judging you, laughing at you with all their alien friends, watching your every move live, and then they send like 1 million ads to you about alien products that you don't want, like those shoes and socks that have a gap between your big toes. No one needs that. But what you do need is nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, which helps you prevent that happening from the more real threat of humans doing the same. It encrypts your internet connection, hides your IP address and location, it has an inbuilt ad blocker, and also helps you gain access to region-based content. You should go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get a big old discount. You can also click the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For August, it's for a Crusader Mercury Star Runner with lifetime insurance. This medium-sized, well-armed cargo and data hauler is great for trying out a huge range of what Star Citizen has to offer, a perfect mission runner ship. To be in for a chance of winning, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details in the description below. There are some amazing people that help support the channel by clicking on the join button under my videos and becoming a channel member or becoming a Patreon with the links below. That helps keep the channel going and producing daily content. Please consider joining their ranks, but commenting, liking, subscribing, that all massively helps too. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the verse.